What is up, guys? How we doing? So I got an update on the Mammoth Mountain tragedy with Aidan Zingg. This is awful, but there's a lot of misinformation going around. I'm going to clear that up. And the Southwick 250 race, man, Aidan Deegan made it boring. Those two hole shots, I mean, it's fun to watch Aidan Deegan ride, but dang, I'm going to get into that and what he should do for the rest of this year. But if you got some aches and pains and you are just struggling with what to do, try Nano-Extreme, the best pain solution that I've ever used. I bring it out with me on the boat. Everywhere I go, I take Nano-Extreme with me now. Head over to Nano-Extreme, use code COOKSY and get free shipping. Man, as it heats up, you're trying to stay hydrated all day. Head over to Complete Racing Solutions and get Coach Rob's Energy Fuel. This is the best hydration drink that I've ever used. It really does keep me feeling strong all day long. Get your energy fuel at CompleteRacingSolutions.com. Alias MX Gear has their 2025 and a half summertime, the lighter gear. You're going to want to order it fast. It is here, it is on the website, and is shipping now. So get those orders in. It will sell out for sure. AliasMX.com. So what happened at Mammoth Mountain on Saturday was tragic, absolutely tragic. But it was an accident, and it truly was just an accident. There was no negligence, and the things that are being reported about the accident, they're incorrect. First off, let me talk about the promoters at Mammoth. They do an excellent job at getting flaggers, safety personnel. They had 46 flaggers around that track. And since it's on a ski resort, in addition to all that track personnel, they have additional medical staff throughout the track. There's 6 ski patrolmen. And if you look right here in that picture, you see those 2 guys in red? Those guys are both medical professionals right there in case somebody needs assistance. You add to that the regular medical staff that they have at almost every other amateur event, in addition to the ski patrol guys out on the track. And that is not the biggest track in the world, so 46 flaggers has that thing covered. And there was a flagger in position before where Aidan crashed. And you see a lot of these flaggers asleep at the wheel. That's not how they do it at Mammoth. Every 15 minutes or so, they rotate the guys to keep them fresh. They have breaks. They keep these flaggers sharp and ready to go because they know how important they are and how quickly this sport that we love so much can go from just fun, hanging out with a great group of people, to tragedy. And I heard some people complaining, saying, why didn't they red flag it sooner? Well, I'll tell you why they didn't red flag it sooner, because as soon as that medical professional got there, he's got the radio to get back to the starting line. Where they were at, the starting line could not see what was going on. This medical professional, rather than radio stop the race, realized Aidan wasn't breathing, and he immediately started CPR. So he didn't radio because he was doing life-saving techniques. Unfortunately, to no avail, and we lost Aidan Zingg. They did everything they could, and this happens sometimes. It really does suck. Every once in a while, an accident is just an accident, and it's not really anyone's fault. When I look at Mammoth and I look at the way they run stuff, and you guys know I rip promoters who cut corners and do different stuff and put riders at risk. That's just not the case here. That is not the case here. That is not what happened. And we're not going to know what physically caused this tragic event. Right now, they think it's something with a heart, tearing or aorta or something like that. But where he crashed on the track, it wasn't the most spectacular crash. I mean, we see crashes worse than probably what he had every single day, and to tear an internal organ, and there's nothing anyone can do. You can't take the human body and beat it. Maybe he had a pre-existing condition. There's been guys who've had something on their heart and they find it early and they don't have a tragic event follow it. But maybe that was the case here. Maybe he had something that nobody knew about, and then when he hit, it ruptured. They won't know until the autopsy is done. And that is why you're not seeing a lot of people talking about what went wrong or why it went wrong, because they don't know yet, and they won't know for a little while. But what I can tell you for 100% is this was not negligence. They had medical personnel with him immediately to do everything they could to save his life. And if you insist on buying in on it was the flaggers' fault, flaggers don't know what they're doing, and that's in a lot of places, that is the case. When I watch our outdoor nationals, I am mind blown with the stupidity that MX Sports puts out there and the flaggers. I don't think that was the case here. I really don't. If you look at where this happened on the track, they come down, they make a U-turn, and then they do this little dog leg right here. And at this dog leg with that little bump in the middle, he crashed in that turn. They're not sure what happened. They think he might have high-sided, but they're not sure. But the people I talked to assured me that every single rider that came past afterward said that he was laid out. They saw him, no problem. They were able to get around him without hitting him. So as far as anyone running him over, I don't think that's true. I just don't think that happened. And if by chance that did actually happen, it had to have been one of the riders who was right next to him, to where a flagger wouldn't have helped that anyway. You can't throw out the flag at the exact same time an incident is actually happening. And it's absolutely horrible when something like this happens. And then everybody wants to point a finger. Everybody wants to know why it happened, instead of preemptively checking and doing different things. I will say this, as far as motocross sits in our current landscape, I don't know that Mammoth did anything they couldn't have done. If a guy crashes and tears something in their heart, I'm sorry, but there's not much you can do. Maybe we could enforce airbags. The problem is with those airbags, those Alpine Star ones, they're extremely expensive. And like I said, we don't have the autopsy report. We don't know if that actually would have helped him yet. And we won't know for a little while. But I do like those airbags, and I love safety innovations. I hope there's a way that we can get these on riders at a reasonable price, because, I mean, we spend $400 or $500 on boots. I know these things cost, I think, upwards of $1,000 to $1,500 for the airbags, and the supply on them is really low right now. They don't have enough for all the riders yet. If only we had an organization like the AMA that collects millions of dollars from riders every year that could subsidize putting airbags on all the riders. That might work. But like I said, this is all preliminary. We don't really know what happened. We don't know if the crash caused it. We don't know if he had a pre-existing, that when he crashed it made it worse. We don't know. All the information right now regarding why this turned into a fatality, nobody knows. Until we see that autopsy report, it's hard to make judgment. It's hard to say this would have helped or that would have helped, because we don't know. But the key facts to this is flaggers were there. They were on the ball. He didn't get run over. The slow red flag was because they were doing CPR to save his life instead of radioing to shut the race off. That's very, very crucial, those first few seconds. That EMT did everything perfect. He went right to CPR. Yes, it would be nice if it was on any part of the track where they could have seen it. They probably would have red flagged it immediately. As soon as you see someone doing CPR, you know we got a situation on our hands. But the other officials on that side of the track in Mammoth could not see what was going on, and they were waiting to hear, usually the medic radios in, hey, we got a broken femur, red flag it. We got something else going on, red flag it. But if that guy goes silent, you just assume it's okay, right? You don't think it's that big of a deal. Unfortunately, this is a bigger deal than we ever could have even imagined. This sucks, and it is some of the dangers of riding dirt bikes. And while this incident in particular doesn't fall in line with the stupidity that causes a lot of stuff, it reminds us how quickly this sport can go with having fun and hanging out to something that will change the rest of your life forever, or actually end your life. And I don't want Aidan Zingg forgotten. That is the one thing as dirt bike racers, we don't want to be forgotten. We want to be remembered. We know that this risk exists, but we also, if something happens, we don't want to just be pushed aside. So I want to give Aidan Zingg his props. This kid was amazing last year at Loretta Lynn's. He got his win. He took the win in the Super Mini class, and I was like, wow, Aidan Zingg is really good. And I've heard so many good things about this kid. And a lot of times when there's a big accident, somebody talks about how great someone is, no matter how they were. In our motocross community as a whole, I come across negative a lot. Yeah, because there's a few people that take this love of community, and look at how the community came together in Mammoth and supported. This wasn't like they announced over the PA system, come down here and support. People just care about their fellow competitors. We are a community and we stick together. Barring just a few people who use this love for our sport and this community, and they use it for their own financial gain, Davey Coombs. The rest of the moto community are some of the best people that I've ever met, and the Zingg family is a perfect example of that. And I'll tell you what, the world will miss Aidan Zingg. This seemed like a really good kid. You can tell from what people are saying about him, the pictures. I remember how he talked after Loretta's last year. I was like, I'm going to watch that kid. He seems like a really nice kid, a good kid, and a hard worker. And he was on his way to becoming a top pro in this sport. And as bikes get faster and faster, the safety and the dangers, the faster you go, the more things that can happen. You know, in the 80s and the 90s, when they're riding two strokes and you crashed, you saw broken wrist, broken collarbone. You didn't see these catastrophic injuries like we're seeing now. We'll see guys go down and they'll have a laundry list of injuries: shoulder, leg, spleen, liver, foot. They're almost like car crashes. They're almost like road racing crashes now because they're going so fast and there's not a lot of runoff. And most motocross tracks don't have a ton of runoff. And I don't think you're ever going to slow down motorcycles. Guys are going to figure out, we're racers, we're going to figure out how to make them faster. I'm telling you, I truly think one of the biggest things we could do safety-wise is limit the tires. Use a tire kind of like they do in the Enduros in Europe. You'll still have a knobby tire and you'll still have something that holds up really well, but you do not need these giant scoop tires and razors that shred jumps. In an outdoor national, you can hit the face of a jump on the first lap, come around the next lap, and that line that you hit was perfect is completely blown out, but you've already committed to it at 30 miles an hour to jump this huge gap. And if there's a kicker in there, you're just going for a ride. If you change the knobby height, the tracks are still going to get rutted. They're still going to get bumpy. That rut that was perfect, you came by in the first lap, it's going to gradually deteriorate. You're not going to be as surprised by kickers when you don't have these razor blade tires out there. And I talked to the people at Dunlop, and they assured me that, you know, if they do lower the knob height, people are like, oh, it's going to be slick, people are going to crash. No, they're not. The tire will be as predictable or more predictable than what we're currently using, but the track will hold up better and it will slow down speeds. The less traction you have, the less power matters. So it becomes more about technique, riding, and it kind of slows it down just a little bit. It's not going to slow it down a lot. It's going to look almost the exact same. And it also increases vision. Now you can follow a guy a little bit closer because they're not blasting you with rocks. You know, you're still going to have tear-offs. You're still going to get roosted, but it's just a different level. It just takes it back. And I truly think that is one of the things we need to do safety-wise. I also think it will help tracks. Think about how many track builders and people that run local tracks that have to completely rebuild that thing every 2 days because the current modern day bikes and the tires destroy it. And I'm not saying the tracks won't get destroyed and they're going to be able to just prep it and leave it for a month, but it will slow it down a little bit. We have to stay on top of safety in a progressive manner. We have to work to prevent stuff like what happened to Aidan, not just react. And that's what I'm talking about with this knobby thing. I don't know that that would have changed anything with Aidan Zingg, but at the same time, let's keep looking for ways to make it safer. Let's take a look at these airbags. Maybe they need to be mandatory because as fast as guys are going, when you get to the danger of a fatality, you got to protect those vital organs. But anyway, I just want to send my best to the Zingg family, all their family and friends. As a motocross community, we are a family. We do truly care about each other, and we're all hurting for you. I can't imagine what it's like to show up at the track with your child and leave without them. That's one of the worst things. Nobody should ever have to do that. While we know it's a dangerous sport, I can't imagine the pain they're feeling. And yeah, just sending our best to the Zingg family. Aidan, you're gone, but you will not be forgotten. All right, guys, let me get into a little bit of Southwick, but first, check out Ride Strapped, goggles, glasses, shirts, just a really cool company that I really like being associated with. Head over to Ride Strapped, get your red pill shirts, your goggles, your glasses, just a cool company. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. This is such a good shipping company, family owned, reasonably priced. Hit up pretransport.com if you need to ship anything. Wow, Aidan Deegan is something special. This guy truly is. A lot of people talk about him and his style, and they say, oh, he hammers it like Carmichael. No, this dude has bike skills, but he can also hammer it just like Carmichael. And when he got both hole shots, he really made Southwick boring, guys. Not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for a bad start in that second moto to give some of these other guys a chance because he's on a different level right now. I think you could start him last and he probably still would have won. That's where Aidan Deegan's at right now. But when he got those hole shots, it really did make it boring. He has a 58-point lead in this championship, over one round. That's huge. They've completed 5 of 11 rounds, and what I really want to see, and he's already messing with Jet, posting, making fun of Jet for holding his watch up. There is going to be a rivalry for the ages between Jet Lawrence and Aidan Deegan. If Aidan can get up there and battle, I think he can. I do. I really think he can. And Aidan kind of wanted that perfect season outdoors, but that went out the window in Colorado. So at this point, I just want to see him win the championship, and I hope he can do it 2 rounds early. I would love nothing more than him to jump on a 450 for the last 2 rounds and just get out there. There's nothing to lose, because if he goes out there and gets smoked by Jet, no big deal. He just rode the 450 for a week. He's got all off season to know how much he needs to improve, what he needs to do. And I'm not trying to rush him to the 450 class, but I also know a lot of how the Deegans operate. Now, Aidan wants a challenge. He wants something people say he can't do. If people say he shouldn't go to the 450 next year in Supercross, he'll probably go and prove them wrong. I've been proved wrong multiple times by this guy. But I think it would be a great time to just kind of create some buzz, test the waters on the 450, because I'm pretty sure he's going to clinch it 2 rounds early. And if he does get smoked, no big deal. He's a 250 guy who just rode in the 450 class. He's got another year to prep. By jumping in early, you're playing with house money, and I want to see Aidan Deegan do that. And when I had Matt Hammer on last week, we talked about Aidan. I said he's kind of vulnerable. He doesn't have anything to prove, nothing to be mad about. But I talked to a guy who watched him practicing at the Bennick's farm or whatever. So he went out there. It was an hour session. He said most guys would do 15, 20 minutes, pull in, get water, do some starts. Aidan hammered the entire hour. He's like, dude, I have no idea how he did it. He was ringing that bike out and just sending it. You'd think a guy that was that much on top would take a break and relax. He's riding like he still has something to prove, and that's scary for his competition. And while he's not quite as smooth as Jet, he has every bit of the potential to challenge him, and he absolutely will. Tom Vial, the 2-time Supercross, 2-time MXGP champion, has been kind of outdoors. He hasn't been very good in the United States. And Southwick was he did okay. A 3-3 for second overall, but that is not what is expected of a 2-time world champion who just won 2 Supercross championships. He's expected to at least challenge Deegan. He didn't look like he could have challenged Deegan in any way. He has got to figure out something as far as to finding that extra speed. I don't know if he's going to succeed in the 450 class if he can't find that extra drive to at least compete and give Aidan a good run. Levi Kitchen looked better. He got second in that first moto. I guess he got a cramp in his side he got second in the first moto, got a cramp in his side in the second moto, and he got third overall. Not bad. The thing that concerns me about Levi Kitchen is he's looking bigger. He's added some weight, not like he's fat or anything, but he's just grown since last season. And he's going to be in the 250 class next year. If he gets any bigger, I don't know if he's going to be real competitive on that 250. And in 2026, it is championship or bust in every class for Levi Kitchen. He's hit that point in his career where he's been a 250 guy for a long time. It's time to step up, win championships, if you ever want to have a real 450 career. If not, he might end up in the 250 class like Jordan Smith, RJ Hampshire, and stay down there forever. Michael Mosman was riding so good in that first moto, but his bike let go. Star's got an issue there, and Aidan didn't have any problems at Southwick, but Michael Mosman did. That's Colorado, Southwick. Clearly, something's going on with those Star bikes. We know they're super fast, but the reliability, it's not so good. And while Aidan has a 58-point lead, seeing these bikes break on a regular basis, that can't be real inspiring. But it's nice to see the old Michael Mosman back battling and riding hard, and I think he will get a podium here pretty soon. Joe Shimoda. Joe looked really good, but he did what he does every year at Southwick. He has one bad moto and one good moto. Even though his good moto was only second to Aidan Deegan, it was considerably better than the first moto. I don't know how. One of these days he's going to find some consistency at Southwick and have 2 good motos, but it wasn't this year. We got the same old Joe, but same old Joe's pretty damn good. Bummer news for Casey Cochran. I'm a big fan of Casey Cochran. Watching him come back from this dislocated hip and then to see him in qualifying practice trying to pop his shoulder back into place, that sucks. And that is unfortunate. But when he was an amateur at Loretta Lynn's, he had a shoulder dislocation and continued racing after popping it back in. Are we seeing residuals of that? Did he do damage as an amateur that is costing him as a pro? And that's what I said during that Loretta Lynn's when they kept him racing. And everyone's like, dude, he's tough. He can go. Yeah, these guys need to have that attitude as I'm tough. I'll ride whenever, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. But when you're an amateur, you need people around you. You can have that mentality. They need to stop you and say, nope, you're not riding. You can want to ride all you want. You can be tough enough to ride, but we're not going to let you for your own good. You have to protect them from themselves, because what it does is later on in their pro career, you might say, oh, well, they're so tough, but their bodies break down at a certain point. You have to protect them from themselves. If he were a veteran and he's hitting his last couple seasons and he dislocates it and wants to ride it out, I say go for it. But when you're young, like he was at Loretta Lynn's, there was no need for that, and I think we're seeing the residual damage of them pushing him too hard at Loretta Lynn's. Next up, Redbud! Hey, if any of you guys, when they do the Redbud Scream Outs, if you guys get a sign that says Cooksey Media, Cooksey anything, Cooksey Mob, whatever, I will give you a prize pack. I think it would be hilarious, and it would drive Davey Coombs mad if Cooksey Media got onto the broadcast. So if anyone can do that, just know I got a prize pack for you. Speaking of giveaways, Coach Rob's Energy Fuel, I'll be giving that away tomorrow. A mob member is going to win a Energy Fuel pack from Coach Rob, and all you guys are entered to win the XQi3 from New Power Sports. These bikes are so fun. One of you guys in December will win one of these bikes. So thank you guys very much. Here's your member of the day.
Let's start this off by saying, we got them. The illegal sale of American motorcycle racing. I present a case that reveals how the American Motorcyclist Association's 2008 sale of its racing properties constituted an illegal transfer of public trust into private hands. My name's B Mazy, and I'm here to stir shit up. So I made a song for you guys. It's crazy that the riders still gotta pay to race, even though these guys are just filling their pockets because they're money-hungry, greedy, stupid mother, ex-circus owners, but still got the same mindset for the Supercross. Screw Feld, screw the AMA, and screw Rob Dingman.